and they were singing. They were basically saying that they are chasing evil spirits out of Trans Nzoia. But when the same enforcers disrespect the Constitution, they disrespect the court orders, they have no regard for the people they are governing. The people they are governing will respond with equal measure. It reminded me of people who are fake friends, fake smiles, fake pinch. Because that was not a genuine pinch. But at that time, it appeared to be genuine. But this is a guy who can throw you under the bus anytime. This is a guy you cannot rely on. This is a guy you cannot depend on. This guy is just fake. Forget about Isaac Mwaura. Leave alone Isaac. Isaac is fighting for his own stomach.
He said
he is employed. Isaac, his job is employed to sing and pray, and he's my friend. His job is to sing and praise. But he does not mean it. And that's why he keeps on goofing. As the Swahili say, siku za nyani kufa, what happens?
Miti yote.
Miti yote nateleza.
Yes.
That's what is happening to Kenya Kwanza government. I don't know.
Miti yote nateleza.
Miti yote nateleza. And I suspect
this
is God's intervention. He most probably tell you that he refused to give land for housing. I am telling you. How come that thing died? What gives him the idea that he can do as he wishes? This is not his personal house. This is not for going. I think the president needs to stop being simplistic.
Is there a vacuum post Raila?
Play one clip where Ruto has spoken truthfully.
Great to see you. Hello there and welcome to Philip Kisia Unscripted this particular Friday. I'm so glad that you've joined us and you take your time every single week for these conversations that we say we hope will help our political leaders in making better policy and political decisions. My conversation today is all about the state. Is it targeting its critics? We've seen what has happened with George Natembeya, former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua claiming that his life is in danger. NCIC summoning him. What should the loyal opposition do? Philip Kisia is a leadership and governance expert, former Nairobi Town Clerk, ex-KICC CEO in the loyal opposition as the executive director of Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Coalition Party. Great to see you. How are you doing this week?
Well, it has been a horrible week. Yeah. State capture, weaponization of state agencies like DCI and the EACC. It's been a horrible week. And they put my good friend and brother, Governor Natembeya, through hell.
That's your week.
But God is great.
God is great.
Mungu ni nani?
Mungu ni nani? Let's talk about your reflections and your highlights for this week, even before we look at what has been happening this week.
Well, Jay, there are two highlights, and I want you to, play those two videos together, because I'll comment. They touch on both touch on state capture and weaponization of institutions that the same president promised not to do. Okay? So we're actually seeing a reverse of the gains that we made since we repealed Section 2A. In fact, it is worse. I think we've gone back to the Moi era. So just quickly look for this video where there was a celebratory mode in Trans Nzoia after, the time that Governor Natembeya was going through those challenges. And then again, look for that video. I call it the presidential pinch, where Senator Gloria, received a presidential pinch.
saying the president there with Oruoba now undergoing tribulations and persecution, and also Trans Nzoia.
You know, that song is a very powerful song. When people gathered around Masinde Muliro's, monument, the songs they were singing were loaded and they were heavy. And they only sang to the people who are uncircumcised, okay? And they're basically saying, run away, take off, take off. They are sung for people who, people have very little respect for. When people don't respect you, those are the type of songs they sing. They sing those songs to evil people. They sing those songs so that they can chase evil spirits from their space, okay? And therefore, when you saw the people of Trans Nzoia mobilizing, without even the governor being there, people in thousands came out and they were singing. They were basically saying that they are chasing evil spirits out of Trans Nzoia, okay? So what they are saying, and you know, actually, you can now put a correlation. Governor Natembeya was being accused for mobilizing and organizing people to violence. All these things were happening when Governor Natembeya didn't have his telephone. He had no communication with these people, but people came out. So my understanding from that song, people are basically saying, you know what? We are going to unite behind our governor. We are going to protect our governor. And they were saying that for a long time, we have not had a leader, a political leader of that stature from the time Masinde Muliro died. At least in that particular geographical area, they have not seen any leader. Of course, we had Michael Kijana Wamalwa, but from Mike Kijana Wamalwa, we've never had. We've had people who are lukewarm, people who can be easily bought, people who are spineless, people who, basically just think about their own stomachs. So these people are saying, joke with our leader, and we are here out to defend. And we shall do whatever it takes to defend our leader. Now, the second...
Before you go to the second one, I want to know, when you see the burning of tires of DCI officers' cars, what comes to mind? Because this is what was happening the morning of Natembeya's arrest.
Jed, monkey see? Monkey?
Monkey do.
You see, what the people are saying is that you have a habit of disobeying court orders, that you have no regard for the rule of law, that you don't give a hoot, okay? So they are basically saying, listen, if that is the direction you want this country to take, we are ready for it. Come on, buyer.
Oh.
Yes.
Come on, buy.
Come on, buy. They are saying they have got to a point where they don't care anymore. Because see, when you see the citizenry, attacking people who are supposed to enforce law and order, they are saying, tumefika mwisho. We cannot take it anymore. We are ready even to die. Okay? And that's why, and it's a very unfortunate situation where you find that, the citizenry and the law enforcement orders, units are not working as a team. It's a very dangerous space for a country to be in.
All right.
And I'm only praying that these excesses that the executive is showing will be managed, in fact, wiped out. Because if they continue with the excesses, people are getting tired. People are saying, you know what, liwe liwalo, we are ready to face you.
All right.
Okay? So it's not a very good position to be in, Jed, okay? Because we need to to coexist in an environment that respects the rule of law. But when the same enforcers disrespect the Constitution, they disrespect the court orders, they have no regard for the people they are governing, the people they are governing will respond with equal measure. and they respond negatively. And there's nothing you can do about it. It has happened in Bangladesh. It happened in Romania. It has happened in so many places where people say, you know, we just had enough.
All right.
Yeah. So the second one is my friend Governor Gloria Orwoba. Okay? And I found that one very interesting, you know, Jed, as a highlighter. This is somebody who would have died for Ruto. Okay? Just a few years ago, because I've debated with her. We've been, you know, on talk shows with her. And she would go flat out, I'm telling you, Jed, you know, to talk positively about President William Ruto. But to see her coming out and saying, you know what, enough is enough. I've had enough of the lies. I can no longer, you know, I can no longer protect this administration against the people because they keep on lying. And it got to a point where I cannot lie anymore. Therefore, I want to be on the side of truth. I want to be on the right side of history. Okay? And you saw her coming out and saying, no, I would rather lose the job than be in a group of people who break promises, who lie, who are abdicating our children, who are doing all negative things to the people they are supposed to be governing. So, but you see, then, you know, just look at, if you look at that video, you know, the pinch the president gave her is what I call a presidential pinch. Is a pinch that I normally give Ivana. You know, my little Ivana,
Yes.
my sweet Ivana.
Yes.
She's 13. But even then, she's my little daughter, who I love very much. But I can tell you, Jed, she will not allow me to pinch her in public. Only in the family setting, you know, family setting, I can play around where I can pinch. But the president of the Republic of Kenya, in public, pinched. The presidential pinch is a display of love, affection, you know, to say I care for you, okay? That you are my person, all right? And I, you know, Jed, I've just told you that even my own daughter, my sweet Ivana,
Yes.
in public she will not allow me. But that happened in the glare of public.
Yes.
We all saw it. Then in no time, record time, because this happened in around, I think, June 2024. We're in June. Within a year, things have changed so dramatically. So, you know, when analyzing that video, it reminded me of people who are fake friends, fake smiles, fake pinch. Because that was not a genuine pinch. But at that time, it appeared to be genuine. But this is a guy who can throw you under the bus anytime. This is a guy you cannot rely on. This is a guy you cannot depend on. This guy is just fake. So for me, actually, it should remind Kenyans that you are dealing with a person who can easily throw you under the bus, a person you cannot rely on, a person, you know, who doesn't value friendship, a person who does not value anything. Probably the other things he values, like money and what have you, and power. So I fell for Senator Orwoba. I'm happy that she rushed to court and she got some orders. I don't know whether the court orders will be respected because I'm already hearing that they are saying she has been overtaken by events. But I wish her well. But the point was, we were saying that it has been weaponized. You look at the speed at which it was done. A kangaroo committee is formed. I think the neck, it should have gone through the disciplinary committee first, and then to the neck, and you know, and then the lady is given an opportunity to defend herself, to defend her actions, and then from there they pick it up. Okay, but you can see the speed. Straight into neck, made a decision, expelled from the party, the right to the speaker of the assembly, and the girl is out, and the girl is thrown out, and the thing is degazetted.
Yes.
Look at that speed. Efficiency when it comes to issues that you know, are a benefit to them. But when it comes to matters that really matter to the people of Kenya, the speed is so slow like a snail. But on issues that, you know, like Adani, supersonic, throwing out Oroba, supersonic, finance bill, supersonic, things that they are going to benefit from. But things that, that should benefit Kenya, it is a snail speed, okay? So, Jed, Kenyans are watching. I hope you've learned your lessons. So it's up to you going forward to decide on who, going into the future, should be given the position, the responsibility to govern or to hold any public office.
All right.
Now let's look at my
Reflections.
reflections for this week. There are two. The first one was on housing. Housing. And you remember, Jed, when we started for about 18 months, we've been talking about housing. And I'd warned Kenyans. But Kenyans never listened to me. But I'm happy a few months later, people picked it up and they could see the sense, of what I was saying. And the second one is my good friend Nyoro, Ndindi. Ndindi has come and said, listen, NSSF has no business building roads. So quickly look at those videos and then we can, comment on them.
Mimi ndio chairman. Hawa ni mavijana wa Kayaba. Hawa ni mavijana wa Ruben, kuna vijana wa Temba. Wengine ni kupata ufahamu. Wasabibi wako hapa wa Marigoni.
Rambo. Then basi inamaanisha juu pia kuna bado kuna mpaka mboka ya kutoka mbali. Inamaanisha lazima tuonane basi
Na chairman.
before madaraka ni nini ndio muongee na wazee wa mdosi. Kuna wazee tunatembea nao.
Unachukua? Sawa. Hiyo iko sawa.
Napanga mboka.
Sema G baby. Bora nikujenge pacha. Tutapewa na yeye. Bora nikujenge.
Play around with everything else, but we cannot afford to play around with the monies that are contributed by the workers of Kenya. We are forcing NSSF to build roads in Kenya. NSSF, kazi yenu na kazi ya NSSF is to make sure that pesa ya workers ile inakuwa contributed, that it is optimally invested.
I'm saying distribution of money kwa vijana mukuru. Why do you think it's important for Kenyans to see this video today?
If those things are benefiting people, if they're benefiting the low class of this great city of ours called Nairobi, why would they even use money to mobilize people? Why? That's a question that, Jed, you need to ask yourself. Why would they spend money to mobilize, to make people happy? And from what I can see, is 1,000 bob to 2 people. So everybody was living with 500 bob. A day's work to just go and clap for somebody. Okay? So, but let me warn Kenyans. That money that was being distributed there is not, it is your money. It is our money that is being dished out like tissue paper. Okay? Just given out for free. People have not worked, but people are being bribed to come and sing praise. I have said, Jed, that those housing thing was not meant to benefit the people of this republic. It was meant to benefit a few, to benefit people who are in the cement, and specifically a few people. It is meant to benefit people in the steel industry, and I think one or two, okay? It is meant to enrich people. I don't know why people want to accumulate so much wealth, okay? So this thing that is being done, and what really even shocked me on this particular thing, you know, when you, Jed, you say somebody needs to be a bit ethical.
Yeah.
Somebody needs to be a bit, you know, to have some
Decorum.
Some decorum.
Yeah.
You know, some finesse.
Yes.
Okay? The president went and said, Mukuru.
Yes.
And that was the most consequential moment of his life. Yet, it is Uhuru Kenyatta who rolled out that project.
Isaac
He
Mora
found
says it's
it.
not Uhuru.
Come on,
Isaac
forget about
Mora-
Isaac Mora. Leave alone Isaac.
He said
Isaac
that.
is fighting for his own stomach.
He said Uhuru
He
did
is
not
employed.
implement.
Isaac, his job is employed to sing and pray, and he's my friend. His job is to sing and praise, but he does not mean it, and that's why he keeps on goofing. I can tell you, Jed, that Isaac Mora does not mean what he's saying. We know, and you know we are not stupid. We are not chicken sellers. And they should not take us for fools. I have been in this city. These are people wakukuja hapa.
Yeah.
I have run the city, and I can tell you, Jed, this was my idea, affordable housing. Therefore, I am telling you, and you have been here. In fact, why should you take that nonsense, Jed? You know very well, Jed, that Uhuru Kenyatta started that project.
Yes.
It was at 7% completion. Now, this man, in about 3 years, he has done 30%, and he's taking full credit. This is a man who is shameless. This is a government
Yes.
that has delivered nothing. They are holding on to Uhuru Kenyatta's projects, because they have nothing to talk about. Yeah, and if the man was decent, just a modicum of decency, he would have said, and it doesn't cost you anything, Jed. Just saying that my predecessor started this project, but I'm happy that I've completed, and this thing will help the people of Kenya. But taking full credit is a man who is completely dishonest. And if he can, be such, show such level of dishonesty to clever people like us, Kenyans are clever. Kenyans are not these reja people. We are smart guys. And he's showing dishonesty. He's a man that needs to be watched, and you must be very, very careful. But having said that, Jed,
Yes.
okay, again, because I talk about governance, look at what Ndindi Nyoro is saying. The man was just the chairman of budget committee. And we all know the rates for NSSF were increased.
Yes.
And when we spoke about this thing, and we said, we warned Kenyans, we told Kenyans, be careful, be careful. They were fattening NSSF so that they can start looting it. They were fattening it so they can start looting it. Now, because the government is broke, it has no money, they still want to eat. So they are getting workers' money. That is not even government money, for heaven's sake, Mr. Ruto. That is not government money. That is money for workers. And if you look at the NSSF Act, it is very clear as to how that money can be invested, so that when people retire, that money is readily available to them. I can tell you, Jed, if these guys, I'm telling you, Jed, if they get a second term, we'll have no country. Because the amount of looting that is happening is unprecedented. It has not happened anywhere in Africa. Nowhere in Africa. The looting, just mega looting. How can you take workers' money to go and put on PPP projects, put on roads, because your government is broke? Jed, for a man who said that he will never borrow, this man said he will never borrow money.
Yes.
And the records are there. But I'm telling you, Jed, just in the last 8 months, February to date, 8 months, do you know how much this government has borrowed? It's over 568 billion, plus that is domestically borrowed, and then another 157 billion shillings just in 8 months. Not even borrowed, that's interest. That is interest that you, me, and Kenyans are paying through reckless borrowing. Yet, President William Ruto had promised that that will never happen under his reign. But again, having said that, Jed, when you start hitting about 51% of your tax revenue is going just to paying interest. Just paying interest.
Just paying interest.
It means, yes,
Yes.
it means, Jed, that at that rate, at this rate, by end of the year, this just for in another 4 months,
Yes.
these guys, in terms of interest, will have hit a trillion shillings. Okay?
Yeah.
But what does that tell you, Jed?
Yeah.
this government is broke, is actually bankrupt. They are running a banditary economy. There's nothing going on. The only thing that is going on in this Kenya Kwisha government is looting and corruption. Nothing else. Nothing else, Jed. Looting and corruption. Is there anything going on?
Let's talk about politics in the country that we've seen this week. And there's conversation here about political intolerance, growing threat to democracy, selective justice. We saw what happened with Governor Natembeya being arrested at his home. EACC raiding his place because of corruption allegation. We've had former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua actually speaking about his life being in danger. NCIC targeting Gachagua, saying he's posing security threat in this country. DP Kindiki and CS Murkomen saying that Gachagua should not speak the way he's speaking. He actually said that if the elections are messed up in 2027, what we saw in 2007 will look like a Christmas party. Do you think opposition is being targeted? This is what I'm speaking with Kisia about. Looking at this week, would you generally say that the opposition is being targeted?
Of course, Jed. But let's put it into context, Jed. Jed, first of all, I saw them, deploying, instead of deploying security officers to take care of our security, they deployed security officers to Manyoro's residences in Nyeri, I don't know where, in Thika, in Nairobi, everywhere. Yes. Wasting resources. Okay? And Manyora said, and I support Manyora, Luigi. He said, if, the word is if the elections are messed up with, if the elections are messed up with, 2007 will be like Christmas. If. He didn't say, he said if.
But NCIC is saying he's being insensitive to those that lost their loved ones.
No. This thing you call NCIC is now become a joke and a waste of time. What have they done about the Gen Zs who died? Recently. Yes, we lost people in 2007, 2008. What have they done about the children? Over 60 children who lost. And some who have disappeared. What have they done? What has this NIS, whatever you call it, what has it done to the president? Has he recorded a statement when he said Mambo Matatu? I don't know, Ahame, Kenya, Mbinguni, or what? What has the president recorded a statement? In fact, these people need to be called out. When Malim talked about dealing with 5,000 youths, if he was in charge, 5,000 youths, and the man is talking as if, he's talking about 5,000 sacks of potatoes. You're talking about human beings. What have they done about it? These people need to be called out, Jed. The point is, this political tension, okay? We are 2 years to election. Tension is building up. Our democracy is under threat. And instead of the institutions which have been given the mandate to make sure that we have a conducive environment working, they seem to be leaning on one side, okay? And trivializing everything. And only directing their guns towards one side. They should be an arbiter. Yeah? They should be people who are, fostering cohesion. But instead, they are spending taxpayers' money, and you're not seeing anything in return. Then you have people like Murkomen trivializing things. Then you have this Kindiki, the DPO came through the back door, also being very trivial, okay? Sending warning shots to opponents. The job of conducting elections is squarely the responsibility of IEBC. The government's job is to facilitate an independent commission to carry out free, fair, verifiable elections. Okay? They have no business telling us how things about election. They are just opponents. They are competitors. They are just competitors. How can you be a competitor? We are playing football. There are two teams on the pitch, and you want to be the referee. They can never be the referee. And if they think they are going to use IEBC to manipulate elections, this thing, I'm a bit worried. IEBC must work in line with the Constitution. Chapter 7 is very clear. Section 81. They need Marjan must read section 81 to 92. It talks about all matters to do with the election. So for him to start saying, in fact, they're the ones who are actually causing fear and despondency. By Marjan make a statement to the effect that if we hold elections in 2027, it will be unconstitutional. It is unconstitutional for him not to have done continuous voter registration. It is unconstitutional for him not to have done voter education.
Yes.
It is unconstitutional for him, to continue carrying out functions of a commission, yet he's not the commission. So if it is about just the limitation of constituents and wards, yes, it has not happened. What we're telling IEBC is that they must work within the time that they have left to deliver a free, fair, credible, and verifiable elections by 2027. The same constitution that is avowing to this Marjan, he must be reminded, it also says that elections will be held after every 5 years. So there is no way, there is no room for extending anybody's term. And Kenyans must be very careful. Because what I'm seeing, Jed, is, there's this senator from somewhere who already had started, testing the waters, saying we need to amend it to 7 years. If they think they can use any delay caused because we didn't have an IBC to extend the elections, that is a complete no and a no. They must either hold the elections by August 2027. Otherwise, I am not a lawyer, but if the elections are not held, then there's no government. There's a void. There will be a void. And if there's a void, we should be talking about, if there's a void, we should be talking about how do we treat that void. But your term, Mr. William Ruto, will end in August 2027, plus all the MPs, plus all the governors, everybody, since it will be a free and fair. Any attempt to change that, itakuwa shida. And let me tell you,
yes,
Jed, let me tell you, you see these people can already sense the defeat. That's why the only thing they can, because they're enjoying the parks, the only thing they can do is to extend the term illegally. Kenyans, we shall not allow it. And you see, they already know. Murima is gone.
Yeah.
It is gone. The whole of this week and last week, they harassed Luhya leadership. This small PK Selassie, my little boy, why harass Peter Selassie? What has he done? The things they have said are not grievous like what Ruto has been saying and what people in the Kenya Kwanza said, like what Malima said. Why then a whole professor from Luhya land, Professor Nangwe, is arrested just because he has refused to play ball? You arrest Anangwe, professor, again from where? From the Luhya background. And then a few days later, again you arrest another prominent Luhya leader. So what I'm telling them, that if they expected to get, now they should not even, it's a waste of time. Western is gone. If they are relying on Moses Masika Wetangula and my friend Wycliffe Musalia Mudavadi, those people will bring a handful of votes. Western imeenda na imeenda ikienda. So let's get back to
about Natembeya, because Natembeya has been a very vocal critic of this government, and I want to know, how should government play this? If actually Natembeya is corrupt, how should government make it seem as if it's not selective accountability? And from where is it really selective accountability and persecution of Natembeya? I know you've said this is what is happening, but if he's corrupt,
you see, listen. First of all, you said if he's corrupt. The law is very clear. If someone has committed a crime, and he's a governor, Natembeya has been in the service, holding very high positions from the time he left university. He has been an RG, now he's a governor. Summon him to DCI, summon him to ESCC to record a statement. But when you carry out a raid in the manner which they did, we start questioning whether this is being done with impartiality. But again, if you look at the timing, the targeting against a few select, because they seem to be targeting those people who are vocal, those people who seem to be opposing this government, those people who seem to be talking on behalf of Mwananchi, those people who seem to be exposing this government are being mistreated, and the government is using state agencies to harass and intimidate them with the sole purpose of silencing decent voices. You want to silence them. So the only way you can do it is by harassment, embarrassing people, intimidating people, and thinking that people get to a breaking point. You see, let me tell you, Jed, that action against the three, at least from Western Province, I think they seem to have focused, their focus was Western Kenya in the last 2 weeks. The three people, because they come from Western Province. Was it an accident? I don't know, but they come from Western. So we are bound to arrive at certain conclusions that why just this particular region? Why are you focusing? Is it because you wanted to take Nzoia, our sugar company, so you redirect our focus so that when you are looking at this side, you are busy selling our sugar factory? That could be a strategy. But then I can tell you, Jed, I am not saying that corruption should not be tackled. But the way that you deal with this thing called corruption, even the people being arrested, the supporters who support those people being arrested will say, you know what, at least there's fairness, there's credibility, and there seems to be impartiality in the manner in which these things are being executed. But when it appears to be selective, okay, are they saying that the governors from the Kenya Kwanza government are so clean, like peeled potatoes, that they're very clean?
But we saw that with Kiambu governor.
No, Kiambu governor, you know what, I want to ask him, why haven't you called him for an interview? He most probably tell you that he refused to give land for housing. I am telling you. How come that thing died? I don't know whether he eventually gave out the land for housing. I don't know. But look for him, he's my friend. Look for him, Jed. Come on.
Talk to me then about Rigathi Gachagua. I know we've talked about him a little bit, but you wonder, are we looking at a place where erosion of democratic safeguards is happening in this country? And what is the danger of that? Because we are seeing Kindiki, we are seeing Murkomen going against him, we are seeing NCIC going against him, just for that warning shot with regards to IEBC. What is the danger of this warning that comes from NCIC and, you know, the safeguards that are there for the loyal opposition to actually make their political moves out here?
You know, Jed, you know, when, of course, because these people have got supporters, and when the state is so quick at dismissing even concerns raised by the opposition, you start raising question marks. The credibility of the entire operation and whatever is happening is put to question. Okay? And right now, Jed, there is there's shrinking civic knowledge.
Yeah.
The population does not seem to really appreciate the fact that these things are being done in good faith. They are doubting, they are questioning. They are saying, you know, why this time? Why is it being done this way? Okay? But again, Jed, let me tell you, this Kenya Kwanza government can take that action, thinking that they're making scores, they're scoring. But my advice to the opposition is say, use this moment to galvanize support. Because, you know, you are dealing with a population that is completely dissatisfied with the current regime. Okay? They don't need too much energy. People don't need too much energy. They are tired. So what they are waiting for, what these people are waiting for is proper direction. And to be told now, this is the direction we want to go. And because people are just waiting for a team to be unveiled, and say, okay, this is our team. This is a team that is coming to liberate Kenya. So for sure, Jed, the Kenya Kwanza government has come up with a strategy. They thought it is working, but the strategy is completely backfired They are getting more desperate by the day, and you don't know what they're likely to do. I don't know, because they're getting so desperate.
Yes.
Every move they make, it's like, the Swahili say, siku za nyani kufa, what happens?
Miti yote.
Miti yote nateleza.
Yes.
That's what is happening to Kenya Kwanza government. I don't know.
Miti yote nateleza.
Miti yote nateleza. And I suspect
Yes.
this is God's intervention.
Eh.
You know what?
Yeah.
Because how? They have some fairly good fellows in that team, well educated, Kindiki, Murkomen, sober people like Musalia. But how come? Yeah, he's sober. Why are you laughing?
No. Just
Musalia is sober.
people like Musalia.
He is sober.
Yes.
In all aspects.
Yes.
The way his demeanor, the way he thinks, the way he interacts with people, he's sober.
Yes.
And even the other day, he publicly said he stopped taking what I used to take with him. So,
Yes.
he's a sober man.
Yes.
So, how come the things that are happening, that even yourself, you're asking yourself, what is going on in this Kenya Kwanza government? I think when, your time is about to end, and you have good people around you, but things are still happening,
Yeah.
it is God who is bringing you down.
Let me
And
ask-
sooner than later, this thing is crumbling.
Let me ask you about IEBC, because you've talked about IEBC. What is their role in ensuring that people trust it? Now that we're seeing a lot of political tension with how IEBC is going to conduct the 2027 polls, you wonder, and leaders are coming out, raising questions and whether they'll be fair or not. What should they do, especially now that we have the secretariat already working? It has been there. What should they do even before these commissioners take office?
First of all, they must restore confidence. They must stop making any suggestions to the effect that they are working under somebody's, direction. They are supposed to be an independent commission. But when they start suggesting that the elections will be maybe postponed, maybe, because, if we hold them without reviewing wards and constituencies, it will be unconstitutional. Yet they have broken the same constitution in all aspects. Even the trust level keeps on diminishing. So they need to rebuild public confidence. They need to open up their books. They need to tell us, listen, the elections will be held. We know we are behind schedule by 1, 2, 3, but this is what we intend to do. This is the action plan that we have put in place to make sure that we shall still operate within the Constitution to deliver a free, fair, credible, and verifiable election in 2027 August. They must keep on giving us the confidence that nothing will stop them from delivering the elections in August. That's the first thing. Because if they start creating doubts in our minds, even the small little confidence we had with them will diminish. So regaining of confidence is the first step. The second thing that needs to be done is, because already even I don't know to comment too much on the commission because some of them matters in court, but that commission must have, the buy-in, the confidence of all Kenyans. Because if they even suspect that there's a possibility that commission will be biased, that they are preparing to rig in somebody, it doesn't matter who that person is, that commission will not be received very well. Let them stick to the Constitution. They have been facilitated. Let them just give us the confidence that they will do the right thing, and their work is cut out. Jed, they need to read that, I think it's chapter 8 of the Constitution, from around section 82 to 93 thereabout. They should just focus on that and deliver a credible election.
All right.
Anything short of that, and that this IEBC job is a very bad job. It's a bad job.
Yes.
All the people who have taken up the job have ended up very badly. It's a job, maybe, I don't know. It should be a calling. I think the people who go there, they need to carry out some sacrifice. I don't know. They need to clean that office because all the people who have been there have either ended up in jail, have ended up living a very miserable life post, their service. I mean, it has ended up very terribly. So I'm just praying for these people, yeah, that they avoid the mistakes of the past and do the right thing.
All right. Finally, we've seen George Natembeya, Rigathi Gachagua, all claiming that they are being persecuted. And I'd want to know, do you think these two people are the force within the opposition that people should watch out for? Are these two people the ones that can actually take out Ruto if they are given the mandate by the loyal opposition and the people to become the faces of the opposition come 2027?
Jed, I've told you before that the team, the loyal opposition, is growing stronger.
Yeah.
Okay? It is about delivering a team. It is going back to 2002 and coming up with a better team than we had in 2002. A team that is coming to save this country. So we're not talking about personalities here. Jed, we're talking about a team. So my brother Natembeya is part of that team. My brother Rigathi is part of that team. The two of them happen to have taken a very firm stance on fighting inequality, corruption, So they, these are strong people. And they, of course, their profile over time now is growing. They have been persecuted, both of them. And you see, when you find a system persecuting somebody, it means that they have something to offer. Because if you don't have anything to offer, you're always off their radar. But if you have something to offer, of course, you'll be on the radar. These are the people who are fighting for the poor. Okay? These are the people who are fighting corruption. These are the people who are fighting for disillusioned voters. These are people who have come in and they're saying, can we join in as a team and rescue and save this country from further collapse? So, the team is stronger, Jed. And I'm happy that we've all agreed it's not about the person or persons. It's about a team. Because it is a team that will rescue Kenya from further collapse. Okay? And eventually, when we unveil a leader, he'll just be an equal partner. That will say that, okay, we are all equal, but we have given an opportunity to provide leadership to this particular team. But we come in as equal partners. Okay?
Yeah.
But for the time being,
yes.
Okay, get onto the steering wheel. And that should not worry people, should not worry Kenyans. It's going to be done because we have one common enemy to fight corruption, to fight tribalism, okay, and to remove the people who have propagated all these things. One time.
Thanks for tuning into that conversation with Philip Kisia. He says it's not about personalities. It's about that team that will deliver Kenyans from the governance of William Samoei Ruto. Do you believe that the state is using its agencies to undermine the loyal opposition? Leave a comment down below. Just as always, final remarks, final words as we head over to this weekend.
I want to pick a small section of this video in Romania in 1989. Let's play it out.
Freedom. And when Ceausescu hears of this, he's outraged. Still in Bucharest, he orders tanks, soldiers, and his very own secret police to crush the protests by any means necessary. And so, they do. Protesters are shot in the streets, and those who've barricaded themselves are hit by snipers positioned on top of many of the buildings. After a while, they manage to hijack a passing car, a bicycle mechanic who drives them toward the town of Târgoviște. On the way, the Ceausescus listen in horror as the car radio plays a news report about the uprising's victory in Bucharest.
If you look at that video, Jed, you see the Romanians got tired. They were being oppressed by Nicolae, okay, who was the president at that time, who had ruled for so many years, who had looted the country, who had oppressed people. And one day, 50,000 people moved to the palace. 50,000. And still he tried to manipulate, to fake things that, you got sound bites here and there and people shouting, and there's a small crowd of people who are paid, like the one from Mukuru Kwanjenga, paid, and they were singing praises, but they could not, their claps and what have you could not outdo the 50,000 people who are there. Okay? So what happened eventually? Nikolai ordered for people to be shot, like our youth, Gen Z, were shot at parliament buildings, shot dead. And there was blood spilled all over in Romania, all over the palace, all over the town, with blood. And the following day, the army was there, or the defensive forces were there, actually with water bowsers, cleaning the blood. And it continued for a few days. After that, do you know what happened? Because even the defense forces are human beings. The defense forces have relatives. The defense forces have children. What did they say? They said, Commander-in-Chief, we are sorry, we can't do it. We can't do it. You are on your own. You are what? On your own. And what happened? He took off on a bicycle. So let me tell you, power being transient, you must use it carefully, knowing that you go beyond certain parameters, it will come to a point where you'll be alone, where your escape route will be on a bicycle. The Bangladesh woman, at least that one went on a chopper. Yeah. Treat people well, govern properly, govern within the confines of the Constitution, so that when you leave office, people will be looking for you, people will be praising you. Look at how Kibaki left office. Even Uhuru, people don't seem to have so much problem with him. I don't know how my friend William will be treated by Kenyans once he's out of power.
What a conversation to wrap up this week with Philip Kisia. We'll be here next Friday. Leave a comment down below. Share this video with as many people as possible. It's part of our civic duty to make sure Kenyans understand what is happening in this country and how we can make better decisions come 2027. Goodbye for now.
What gives him the idea that he can do as he wishes? This is not his personal house. This is not Sogoi. I think the president needs to stop being simplistic.
Is there a vacuum post Raila?
Play one clip where Ruto has spoken truthfully.